If you care about Myanmar, watch this video. If you're even interested in Myanmar, watch this video. If you know anybody that is connected to Myanmar in any way, watch this video. I'm going to tell you about a battle that happened very, very recently in Myanmar. And I could talk about many battles, but I chose this battle because the outcome of this battle is very similar to the outcome of many battles that happened in the year 2026. This is because we're so used to hearing about how the government of Myanmar is losing territory, is losing control, and the government can't fight back the resistance forces. But that's not the case anymore. The soldiers fighting with the government have far more experience now, and the government is far more well organized than they were in the past. And that is what I'm going to tell you about in this video. Hello everyone, it's ASEAN Anthony, and in this video, the Battle of Khampat. Now, Khampat is a border town that borders India, and both Thailand and India have some big infrastructure investments in this area. Back in November 2023, two well-known resistance groups took control of this small town. Now, I'm not going to say the names of these resistance groups, but they're well known. If you ask me in the comments, I will tell you. But in June of 2026, the government of Myanmar has decided to take this town back, and they planned to launch a big military offensive. And this is because the government needed control of all the borders of Myanmar for obvious reasons, and they also needed to control this area for the infrastructure projects that both Thailand and India had given money for. Now, so the government staged a big military offensive. They had about 3,000 troops. Now, out of this 3,000 troops, it's not just the government soldiers. There are other militia groups working with the government. I'm not going to say their names out of respect. And there's even one militia group that is from India that is fighting with the government of Myanmar. Yes, you heard that right. Indians fighting with the government of Myanmar. So 3,000 troops get together, they go to this town, and immediately they have success. And this is because the government now is far more organized than they were before. They had so much success such that the media in this area announced that the government had fully taken control over the city of Khampat. And even the soldiers started taking pictures as proof. And that is where they made a big mistake. This battle started on June 2026. June 20th of 2026. Day one, government comes in, they have success. They have success, okay? And they take pictures as proof that they're winning. Everyone goes to sleep, and the resistance fighters see these pictures and they see these announcements in the media. They get angry. So the very next day, they start fighting again. Heavy fighting now. Now the resistance is very, very mad. And guess what? The resistance fighters start winning now. So one day goes by. This is June 21st, one day after, okay? First the government's winning, then the resistance forces are winning. Everyone goes to sleep. The next day, the government cannot lose control of this city. So what do? They call in the fighter jets. Now the resistance fighters, they cannot fight against the fighter jets. So what happens? Well, the resistance fighters basically take heavy casualties and they start losing pretty much immediately. And they pretty much go into hiding, and the fighting stops for 3 days. And this is because the resistance fighters, they don't know what to do. They can't fight with the fighter jets above their heads. They don't know what to do. So they wait 3 days. And after 3 days, they attack again, thinking that they're going to win now. Because if the government does not have fighter jets, the resistance fighters, and the resistance forces have a chance to win. So the fighting starts again 3 days later on June 25th, 2026. But this was a mistake because the fighter jets were not gone. Okay, the fighter jets dropped 2 bombs on the resistance fighters, and that pretty much sealed the deal. But I wanted to note one thing. Now, during the 3 days of no fighting, there were a lot of reports of looting. A lot of people said that the government forces took anything they wanted, and this included from even school children. There's reports of these government forces taking books and pencils out of schools, okay? But keep in mind that the people fighting with the government are not all from the government. Some are from India, some are also militia groups, okay? So I'm not blaming the government, but this did happen, okay? And there's a lot of abuse happening. So now it's June 2025. What happens? Well, the resistance fighters take up a place in immigration building, old police building, and an old army camp. They're pretty much hiding, okay? To this day, they're pretty much hiding. They cannot fight, okay? They are scared that if they try to fight again, the jets are going to level them. The government is not going to play games with them because the government has money on the line from other countries, one of which is India. And India cannot be seen as wasting their money because then the money will stop. India has invested hundreds of millions, even billions, into Myanmar. So there's 4. Khampat now is split into 4 different wards: 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ward 1, the resistance fighters control, but Ward 3, 4, and 2 are all controlled by the government. So what does that mean? The government wins. And I say all that to say this. That is how all the battles of 2026 have been going. The government in Myanmar is making a lot of progress. They are taking a lot of territory back, especially in these border regions, okay? And there is one exception, okay? Now, if you pay attention to my videos, there is a conflict going on near the border of Bangladesh and Rakhine State. Now, there is still, I don't want to call it 50-50, but the government is definitely not in control there. But in other places in Myanmar, the government is far more organized, they're far more lethal, and they are taking territory back. I don't know how long this is going to last, but I do know as far as 2026 goes, the government of Myanmar has been making a lot of progress. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I am saying it's a thing.